Hello, everyone. Hi, hi, hi. Hello, hello. Okay, okay. All right. Let me get down to it. Let me get down to it. I am going to break down what is happening, what is going on, and why. Okay? So I've been kind of normal on my stream, which a lot of people are saying, oh, wow, he's normal. And so I'm going to kind of break down what has been going on and what led up to this point and, why I am doing what I'm doing now and what can you expect in the future. What's going on? Basically, I'm just going to lay it down and I'm trying to make it as simplified as possible for everybody so you know what's going on and you know what to expect or whatever. So basically, I've been making videos for a long time. I started making a lot of different videos, which led me to trying out to some food content because I basically all the stuff that I made pretty essentially failed. I tried to do animations, songs, all that stuff. But I feel like I could have succeeded if I put more into it. I feel like maybe if my approach was different or you give it some time, if you just kept on going on one thing. I used to jump around a lot to different stuff. I used to do a lot of different stuff. And, for me to just stay in one spot, I was learning a lot of different skills. But, one thing that I never really did was understand what's happening on the internet. I never really looked at too much stuff. I never really comprehended where everything was. And I think that some of the stuff I made was kind of retro. It was stuff that like maybe would have been funny on the internet 10 years ago or something, so for me, I pretty much was just making a bunch of random stuff and trying to at least just do it because it was really exhausting, man. It was really tiring. Like if I was gonna make some cartoons or some videos, it was tiring, and I did get to up to a certain point where I just pretty much like stop doing stuff and then I go back to it. And I did that for a long time. I just did stuff and went back to it. But I was never very organized. I was never like, oh yeah, this is my target audience. This is what I'm doing, and these are the things that are gonna go into the algorithm, and this is what everyone wants to see. Like I was pretty much just a person who was being an artist and posting whatever, and basically I've done a lot of different stuff. I've done so much different stuff that basically it's just insane, And some of the stuff that I've done is probably way different than the stuff that I'm doing now. So a lot of the stuff I used to do was more adult stuff, and somewhere along the way, I started making food content, and I wanted to make it basically just family friendly and stuff. I wanted to make it just as comfortable, as good as I possibly could. So I was trying to do a lot of different stuff with that. I tried out a lot of different stuff with that. And that was cool because I actually did end up getting a lot of subscribers from that. But so I started streaming full time a couple years ago. And yeah, before this, I used to do a lot of different crazy comedy stuff, just playing around. Because for a while there, for a couple years, like I was uploading like a massive amount of videos because I didn't really care. I didn't care what anybody thought. I just knew that I had to upload videos, and I didn't see there was any problem as long as I was making daily videos, and at least I had something to talk about or was doing something unique in the video, doing some crazy impression, which kind of led me to doing some of the more bizarre characters because I was basically not really doing what people would typically do for YouTube stuff. Like I wasn't really strategizing like, oh, this is a really big idea and this could be good and the channel's supposed to be like this and that. No, I'm just like, hey, I just want to do whatever. And so I guess it kind of led to me making stupid stuff, and people call it brain rot or whatever, which I never even knew was a thing, So basically I was doing a lot of different impressions. I tried a lot of different characters. Some of them are like insane. Some of them are, like overly happy, excited. Like I do a lot of different stuff. I did pretty much like every character impression that I could pretty much conceptualize. But what I found out is when I first started doing it, it was really tiring. I would only do it for like maybe half an hour to an hour sometimes and then just post a bunch of videos. It's not like I was sitting there all day for 10 hours. Like some people could sit there in front of a camera and reshoot a video so many times until they get it right. And they have a whole plan, and the production value is just, with some videos that are pre-planned and scripted, it's just ridiculous how many takes you could do. I don't know, maybe, some people could spend like however many days just making a video to try to get it to where they want it and become such a perfectionist. And that's one reason why I started posting a lot of videos, which people might call spam. But I was trying to work something. I was trying, because when you're acting and you're doing stuff and you're like on camera, you got to get into practice, and some people don't realize that. They're so like, you can get into a unique type of practice and get into a neat, unique kind of way that you're talking. So your speech patterns, the way that you move, the way that you feel, because essentially some people, what they do is they make you feel very good. So it's just the vibe you're giving off. So I spend a lot of time practicing on that, just presenting myself and, trying to do the funniest stuff I could, say whatever I could. I used to do a lot of freestyling, freestyle raps, and I made so much music. I made so many beats and all this stuff, and it kind of turned into a lot of garbage. Okay, so without going into detail too much about acting and, all that stuff, I tried all that different stuff, okay? And then I started streaming like 2 years ago. But I streamed before that. So I've streamed video games before. I've had people watch me, but not ever like a huge amount or anything. I never did. And so yes, I posted the food content, and I had no luck with anything else. I got some views on some videos, a couple hundred likes on a few videos here and there. No one really seemed to care. I used to express my opinions a lot too. I've written a lot of books and stuff, and I've just pretty much like, I let myself just do whatever it is I wanted to do without probably like doing stuff that was probably like too far or just completely like unhinged to the point of basically just being completely like rejected, which I think in some perspective, I might have been rejected by the community because I was basically becoming like a monster on a leash type thing. Like I'm just pretty much becoming as unhinged I can with, or I mean off the leash, a monster off the leash, or whatever you want to say. Like, I was pretty much becoming as unhinged as I possibly could, without like, pretty much getting into the boundary of, wow, these, getting canceled or whatever, or like trying to scam someone or lie to them. Like, because I don't consider acting as a character and just pretty much telling a joke and making something up, which someone could be like, oh, wow, he lied to me, because I don't consider that really a lie. If you're like, it's not like I'm directing people to a crypto page or anything, like I just did characters. I tried to be funny. I tried to come up with unique stuff. And then, so I started streaming a couple years ago. I actually got people watching after my food content kind of blew up a little bit. I was eating McDonald's fries. And then later on, I ended up eating ice cream and stuff like that. And, and that's a whole nother thing, because I started eating ice cream and I didn't, I was eating it every other day. And I just, it's probably, it just doesn't seem good to eat ice cream that much. So I have kind of dialed back on that. But, anyways, I'm trying to make other food content now, and I did a bunch of special effects stuff, and I learned a lot of stuff. So 2 years ago, I started streaming full time, and I actually got some viewers, and I started to get some viewers on TikTok, and I was posting content on TikTok, and everything kind of took off. I started doing a bunch of random stuff, like the impressions that I was doing, that I was sending out in videos that didn't really get too much attention. I got attention for that stuff, but I pretty much gave up on it. Because I used to send out ridiculous amount of videos of doing comedic impressions of different characters and stuff. Some people seem confused, or if some people just they just don't want to think you're funny, or it's super hard to convince people you're funny. It's so hard to do it. It's like an athletic process. And I knew that it was an athletic process where I need to practice to get better in order to be more presentable on camera, because I just knew that there was a way for me to get what other people had when I would watch them, and they were just so, they made you feel really good, and they had a personality, and it just really sizzled, and so I was trying to do that. But yeah, I never got appreciated for that stuff really until I went on TikTok Live, and, I did a bunch of different stuff without eating food. And I thought that was great, because I was eating fries in videos, and that was my thing, as I was just eating fries, and I was trying to eat these fries and do all this stuff. And I did so much stuff with that. And I was doing like ASMR stuff. And, I did so much, like I sweat in my car and eat the fry, and that was pretty hilarious. So I tried to just get better at performing, and, I wasn't paying attention. Like, I didn't really pay attention to much. Like, I never really watched too much food content before that. I didn't really understand content creation really too much just a couple years ago. So like in the last couple years, like I streamed a lot, and I had people watching, and that's when I've been streaming a couple years full time. So I'm getting paid, streaming for a couple years, and that was on TikTok. And then around a year ago, a little over a year ago, I have to go back and look, but there was some point where I started streaming on YouTube, right? And that's when I multi-streamed. I started multi-streaming on YouTube, and now I multi-stream to TikTok, YouTube, Kick, and Twitch, which I don't get too many viewers on Twitch or Kick, but we do have viewers on YouTube, but it wasn't always like that. I was at a point where I wasn't getting too many viewers on YouTube before, okay? I wasn't getting, like, I started streaming, I didn't get really much, and then I started doing it more, and we had some, and then it turned into what you see now. So basically, I was streaming on TikTok and doing a bunch of random stuff, and then we started multi-streaming. But I started at some point. So my streams basically consist of me doing comedic impressions with the audience and shouting out gifs and doing some stuff on TikTok, like TikTok battles and stuff. But I did a lot of different stuff. I would say there's a lot of gimmicks that I did in my streams, and I was really happy. It was such a breath of fresh air I did this comedic stuff where people thought I was crazy or stupid, or they were confused and they thought it was just this random noises or whatever. And I turned this into like this thing and got appreciated. And it was amazing because some streams I would get, I'd get from hundreds to thousands of viewers. At some times I would get a lot. And now, I'm not getting as many on TikTok, and it seems like, I was posting some content there with the poopy toilet seat, and I stopped posting that. But because I think that it was kind of, it got to be too much or something. And so basically what I'm trying to say is I've pretty much, I didn't know a lot, like these terms like LOL cow and rage bait and just some of the stuff, like, toxic streams. Like I've watched streams for years and watched certain content, but I didn't really understand a lot of different stuff. Like I just started doing some special, like decent special effects where I flushed myself down my shirt. I did that. I came up with that idea, and I developed that into a lot of different stuff. But in a short period of time, I was able to, I think somehow my comprehension increased, and your comprehension for understanding just making stuff in general is probably one of the hardest things for you to get in gear. And I think it's one, like you could, and I was saying this on the stream, you could literally get like a master's degree in content creation to really understand what all you need to do in order to do this stuff, because it is a pretty advanced field. And so, I was basically, doing the food content, and then streaming, and then I started multi-streaming and doing, like, I do comedy impressions and singing and stuff. And then I started getting props and stuff. I started do toys and stuff, and just as a joke, and so I started singing and I writing lyrics, and then it turned into choo choo vrum vrum, and then it went from yippity yappity yoppity chippity chappity chop. The whole songs that I sang with the poopy toilet seat, I sang these songs. And I was singing songs before and making random noises and stuff, and like being completely absurd and crazy and just doing whatever random character that came out of me, like I used to do when I used to post a bunch of videos and didn't get as many viewers and, wasn't really taking off. I mean, I had a couple thousand viewers when I was just posting random impressions, but I don't think I was that good at that point. So for me, I always knew that I was working towards something, but I never really thought that I would really get this many subscribers or whatever. So it's really new to me. I got a bunch of subscribers in the last year. I got so many, like 600,000 subscribers on this channel in the last year. And so I've been trying stuff out. Okay. I'm just trying stuff out. I know that it's not everyone's cups of tea and stuff, but I really am trying, and I really want to make good stuff for this channel because I believe in the potential, and I want to post like regular YouTube stuff, not just YouTube shorts. It's probably good to have those on different channels, but anyways, that's a whole nother thing. So basically, I'm just trying to make interesting stuff and the best stuff that I can. But what the stream turned into was me realizing people are saying, "Oh, you're rage baiting, you're acting mad, and people are calling you fat," which I never allowed fat jokes before, but now I am, because it seemed to attract attention. And then I did a whole act around that. And the songs I was singing, I was actually singing those songs before the toilet seat. Some point I put on the toilet seat as a joke and combine it with the stuff I was already doing with toys and stuff, where I'd go like this and whatever, and have the large comb and stuff, and at some point That's when it turned into that. But see, I had the toilet seat. I put some different stuff. I put lemons and, I can't remember exactly the sequence. I'd have to look. But yeah, I put some ketchup on it once, barbecue sauce, and then mustard on it. And then I basically thought of this idea to make fake poop and put it on there. And then I would just sing the song that I normally sang. But some point I started doing Vroom Vroom Piggy. And some point there, I wasn't doing Vroom Vroom Piggy until that. I would just go Choo Choo Vroom Vroom in different variations. But yeah, I started doing the Greasy Piggy song, and then I wrote that song, and then I started doing it. But I never really, I think I'm lucky. I don't think without the food content, I would have probably had anybody pay attention to my streams or whatever. So that's cool. I am still trying to do that stuff. It is, there's a lot of food content you can make. And so, like, for me, it's like I try to capture artistic performances, I try to capture a performance like a person in a music video. Like, that's the best way to put it. Like, when you look at a music video, they try to get the most high-quality shot that they can, but sometimes it's not like this geeky video where you're doing something like other people do on the internet. And so, it's like, but I'm very open about like what I'm doing and stuff. And maybe me talking about it is breaking the character, but that's the point. Is I have a disclaimer on the channel, talks about the channel a little bit, but it's probably it could be simplified. But yeah, so basically, I'm trying to do what I do, and I don't know where I'm going from here. I don't know, like, I never expected to get this far. It's really cool, but I do have way more of a comprehension. I could see like there are bad parts to some of the stuff that I did. I did the poopy toilet seat with good intentions. You know what I'm saying? I was never trying to deceive anybody ever. I was just going and doing what I was doing my characters and stuff. And then people come on the stream and I act mad and say stop sending that emoji, and then it just gets spammed out, and then more people show up and more people show up and more people show up. And I've had so many streams where I've had a ridiculous amount, an unbelievable amount of people there. And I'm totally okay. I think I'm morally justified to do what I'm doing because I'm playing character and I have a disclaimer on my channel. I shouldn't have to come out of character, explain to people. So why am I doing what I'm doing now? I'm answering questions. I'm actually being a person because I can actually see that maybe my comprehension has increased. Maybe I can do, actually I had something in my hair. That's great. That's great. That's actually a piece from that came out. Oh, yeah, this came off of this because I had stuff exploding everywhere. But yeah, I came up with the mystery balloon idea, and then that was like the peak of that. And then I did get a stream removed on my other channel. And I just pretty much got to the point where I'm like, okay, you know what? There's something wrong with this poopy toilet seat stuff. Obviously, it's going to be gross to some people. Some people just want to watch because they know that like people scroll onto it and they'll basically get trolled with this dude with the poopy toilet seat, which I think is hilarious. I thought it was funny, and that's why I do what I do, is because I just kept on following my vision, doing the stuff that I was doing, and it was basically turned into me It's basically like I went into, like, I didn't realize this, but I turned into like this experimental actor who would just do impressions and have fun until I found something that I could do that attracted a lot of attention. So like if I do keep on trying different stuff, then maybe I can get something that a lot of people will like. Unfortunately, the bad side of that is people always assume like I'm crazy or that that's the actual person, and it's probably hard for me to really have an opinion, or if I degrade myself so much, I don't think people really even are there to really, obviously like talk to me or whatever. So the whole problem comes is basically, I got a stream deleted on my other account, and it's just like, it was for basically, I think some gross stuff that I was depicting, but for the mystery balloons on the toilet seat, I should be fine to do that again. But I'm just like, I don't know, like, it kind of turned to what it was, and it just turned in like having this many subscribers is just absolutely insane. So I know this is a long video and stuff, guys, but I just feel the need to like tell everybody because I've been talking about this stuff on the stream. So I will just tell you straight up. And it was fun. It was hilarious because I started to tell people, don't call me a pig. Don't call me a hippo. Don't call me a pig. You're done, and I did a lot of different stuff with that. It was really fun. And the whole thing just turned into what it was. And I learned all this stuff in the moment over the last couple of years and stuff. And it's been crazy. It's been crazy because I just kept doing it. And, and I learned that I had to take days off throughout the week, even though maybe people, want me to be there every day, and I'm just like, well, but I'm trying to make other YouTube stuff, and I don't mind making stuff like this. The truth, though, it comes in, like, there's a lot of things that go into to play with this. I don't want to make like a toxic stream. I don't want to have a bunch of haters on my stream, Obviously, if you make a fat joke about me, I could look at it and like, I don't really care, and it's okay. If you want to make jokes or whatever, it's cool. But to a certain point, it's like I was never trying to rage bait people. Like, I never really even knew that was a thing until, I don't even know, like 6 months ago or something. So I didn't even know really what people were talking about. I obviously don't want to just like send out stuff just to make people mad or whatever. My real intention is to make like actual funny stuff, to be actually funny. And I tell people I'm doing comedy, and they're like, oh yeah, you poopy toilet seat and all this. And so I mean, you do get mocked a lot, and people do talk trash to you, and that's criticize you for every little thing and gaslight you for every little thing when probably they don't know anything about you. So, and that's just the way it is, but so for me right now, I'm just like, well, what do I do now? What am I supposed to say to anybody? What am I supposed to do? I'm going to be stuck wearing a poopy toilet seat the rest of my life. And some of you guys have already heard this. You've already heard this whole thing. It's like, I'm just not wearing it, and I don't really know if I should have worn it to begin with, and I gained a lot of subs in a shorter period of time. It's just me. I just do all this stuff alone. It's just me. No help from anybody. Okay. And I was trying to get some help because I feel like the channel is a little bit bigger than just me. Like, if you really want to compete on YouTube, like with other people, man, they go absolutely nuts. They have full teams of people. Like, all the dominant channels seem like they have at least a couple people doing stuff. You know what I mean? Or you're just really just a solo person who could do a lot. So that's what I'm just telling you guys. It's just me over here. And, I try to do a couple different things. And for me, I just uploaded The Legend of Toilet Man. And it's like a little short horror film or whatever. And it's like, I don't know if that belongs on the Ice Cream Man channel. So guys, I'm just going to tell you, like, I don't really want to mess up. I don't really want to ruin it. But I don't want to be like this person who just feels so chained down to like what people think of me, and I'm going to do what you say, and I'm scared that I'm going to get canceled or something, and so it just comes into this spiral. And this video is already very long already. So I tried to explain it the best I can, but the reality of the situation is I just feel like if I'm not able to do my stream, I used to do the stream without a poopy toilet seat, okay? It just seems like it's a bad thing. It's just like it's okay, but then I don't know, man. I have no idea. Am I new age skibbity toilet? I'm not trying to be anything that I'm not. I just put it on. I was already singing some songs. I put on the fake poop, and then it just turned into what it was. I've never really honestly had a plan, but now I'm starting to get more of a plan. Now I can understand a lot more stuff. Like, and I've been watching a lot of videos and stuff on like things that like, YouTuber mistakes and all this, and just like, trying, pretty much comprehending a lot of the stuff that I probably didn't even care to pay attention to before because I didn't have as many subs, and I was just being an artist and just being who I am. And I want to be an artist, but I also want to make high quality stuff for other people, because sometimes you make art and it's just art and it's really not for everyone, and it could be for the right people. But I've already done a lot of stuff on this channel, and we'll just see what happens. I can literally make any video that I want. I do feel like I was kind of limiting myself to, I just was, like I said, I was pretty much just trying to make family friendly eating content that I could send out regularly and do daily, and do it in a way that maybe I didn't even have to say words, and it was kind of ASMR. Like, it's supposed to be just visually and audibly, like, just relaxing and pleasant. And not everybody understands that. Like, some content, you can take the chaos out of it. You can take the drum out of it. You can take all the insanity of dialogue out of it. You can take all those elements out of it, and you can still have really good stuff that people can appreciate, as long as you can find those people. So, I was doing a lot of stuff, and I had a lot of fun. It was absolutely crazy, and I tried my hardest to make like the best possible stuff I can. So I don't want it to be like this. Like, I've been kind of serious, I know. I don't want to be so serious. And, for me, it's like, when I realize like what I'm gonna have to do to make this channel better or to do more diverse stuff, it's like you have to have a certain expertise to do certain types of videos. And so for me, you know, I'm kind of a person who's a little bit more compulsive. I don't like taking 50 years on a video, and that's just the way I've been. Like, I made videos and posted them. I don't want to sit here for 50 years and just think about all this stuff. I do what I feel. I do what I want. And one thing that I found out is I was a person that I felt like was pretty compulsive, and I wanted to just post something, and I wanted to at least have like some kind of spark of originality and try to capture that. Not, you know, so I don't want to be repeating myself on this video, guys. This is a long enough video. I think that gives you a pretty decent comprehension for what I'm doing here. But I'm starting to get better, I think. I'm starting, as long as I keep on making videos on regular YouTube, maybe I can turn it into something. I have no idea. I have no idea. You know, I might just have to turn into this person that's making a video on anything out there that I can get my hands on, and just, you know, I've been kind of not trying to post too much because I don't want to post too much, and I've been trying to be a little bit more polished with the videos I'm posting here, and like only if I have a good idea. But, you know, I think it's like, well, if you have something and it's something, just post it, right? So here is where it all started, and this is where it all ends, guys. So for me, I will do whatever it takes. Is this the end of the toilet seat? No. I mean, I can put it back on if I want to. I just think that some people look at me as a little bit desperate, a little bit baity, a little bit, you know, gimmicky type stuff. And I just don't want to like, I don't want to retract from it. But it's like, man, like I did it for so long, and like I think some people just want me to do it, and they don't understand like how it, like, or you might just not care. And you know, it's like some people don't care. They're just like, dude, I thought it was funny. Why aren't you doing it? You know, so there's a lot of different people, a lot of different perspectives, you know, but the whole thing is, it's kind of just like there are bad attributes to that type of stuff. And I did it. And some people say, oh, you're going to be remembered that forever. And that's always going to be on the internet and stuff. And it's like, it's caused a lot of just, you know, it's caused, I wouldn't say problems necessarily, but it has been a thing that's gotten a lot of attention, and I just feel like there's certain dimensions of it. I mean, I'm the guy who has to wear it, you know, and the first time I wore a toilet seat, I pretty much could only wear it for a couple days before I had to take it off, and it was I had to work myself up to wearing it. I can just wear it, by the way. I can. But see, the whole thing is, I think that me wearing that also disrupts my food content, which the food content is like, that's another thing. See, I've learned so much on like just managing myself better. I pretty much, you call me stupid, but there's a lot of things that probably normal things that people that watch YouTube would know that I didn't know. And, you know, it's just the concept of originality, just having a good idea. That's a really hard thing to wrap your head around. People just stream themselves, and they just don't really like some people just don't understand like acting, presentation, making, you know, how you're going to make people feel when they watch the video, and just like a lot of these things that are like fueling the entertainment industry and are very important things for you to understand and be able to incorporate into your stuff in a fashion that you deem appropriate. So for me, it's just about you know, I just want to keep on going. And I right there, I just kind of think I just branched off, and I'm trying not to ramble. I'm trying to just give you guys the scoop. I'm trying to give you the ice cream scoop here. But, you know, I might be better off making short form content, and, you know, but yeah, I think that the toilet seat stuff might be conflicting with the food content. And because, like, man, I'm showing all these people where I used to make like food videos, and I think I pop it up with a poopy toilet seat, which I think they do have some congruity, because food content, especially if it's sloppy food content, it can be considered a little bit gross by certain people. Like, some people might not like think watching someone eat food is gross in general. Like, why would you ever do that? You go into McDonald's or you go to a restaurant and people are eating food. Like, you're going to go up there and stare at them? You're going to stare at them and hit the like button on their forehead? You know what I mean? So anyways, I've always been a person who doesn't really like want to sit here and expect anybody to give me anything or anything, but we'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes. I have no idea, but I definitely am very excited. I also think that maybe I'm going through some sort of stage of stress, and so I'm trying. It's a lot to really take on. It's a lot to take on. Like that many subs is insane. So I'm trying to just manage myself and like my mental status. I don't want to get stressed out. It's not worth like all the stress of like, oh, I have 700,000 subscribers. I gotta get 500,000 more by the end of the year. Like, man, what am I doing? You can really, and so like my main goal is to like just make the best stuff that I can and maybe not do something that's just going to be like just bad for the channel in general. But it's like, I don't know. That's always been my kind of spirit too. So here's one thing. It's always been kind of my spirit to just like, hey, I'm going to do some stuff and I don't care. I just don't care. I don't care. I'm gonna post it. That's me. Like I've always like ever since I started posting videos like years ago, I've just been the type. I'm like, you know what? Just post it. Just do it. Just do it. And I kept on doing that. I kept on doing it. And right now it's like I'm supposed to be giving you some kind of success story, but that's not what it's like. That's not what it's like. That's not what it's like. Everything you do costs energy. Everything you do, you're gonna get tired of. You're going to want to do something different. And so a lot of the time you need to find, stuff to do it in a new way. I ate food. I found out that I could eat food on camera. And I take that simple concept and I could sit there and I pretty much like, I don't want to say I mastered it, but I pretty much realized that every single day I could make it the video and it could be different in just the vibe. And I was focusing on that. And it's some kind of some stuff that I would consider some pretty advanced acting stuff, but I never went to school for acting. It's obviously I never really went to college or anything. I pretty much have a ghetto degree in YouTube tutorials, miscellaneous tutorials, but I pretty much learned a lot of stuff from YouTube. And now, I'm up on YouTube doing this stuff. So I really appreciate everybody. And that's a rundown. I mean, this is a half an hour video. I don't want to be yelling into your ear too much, guys, but that's pretty much it. So now I'm trying to kind of take the high road right now. And, that's pretty much what I'm doing because I kind of have to. After getting a video removed and stuff, I feel like, man, it's really not like, to a certain point, it's fun. But, am I going to sit here and apologize? If anybody wants me to apologize, I will tell you, I'm sorry. If you thought I did anything wrong, I am sorry. But I don't want to sit here and be that guy. I don't want to be the apologetic. Like, I'm going to sit here and just apologize for every little thing I did wrong. And then I'm going to be worried till the end of time of everything that I did. And it's going to drive me crazy because I'm going to regret everything. Oh, no, I left the toaster, on the fridge or, whatever. Or I left the oven on. Oh, no. Or, I don't know. It's like, I forgot to tie my shoe. Oh, no. It's like, I don't know. So anyways, guys, I'm just trying to just keep it going. And, there's a lot of options that I can do. So right now I've just been trying to do some steady stuff, but I'm trying some stuff. I mean, there's a lot of things I could do. There's so many things I could do: cooking, gaming. This is obviously just a video I felt like I needed to make so I could reference this and tell people on my stream like, hey, I just explained everything in that video. You can watch that. You know what I mean? So this is basically an updated comprehension without all the comedy stuff of me acting like a 5-year-old for views or whatever. And, there's a lot of stuff that is to be said about the stuff that I did and, how people perceive me for what I did. And, I just feel like those are going to be better for other videos because this video is long enough. And if this video goes any longer, I don't know. That just seems like a very long video. So I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. And I just would like to tell you personally, thank you guys. If you subbed, if you liked, if you enjoyed it, if you check my stuff out, I'm not really one to tell people to like and sub and stuff. I would rather just make a good enough video and you'll do it. But, I really appreciate everybody, and, I usually go on my streams. I try to, now I'm responding to people. Sometimes I do an act and it's fun. And so, I don't want to sit here, but, just one more thing. I don't want to sit here and just take all these things that these people are saying and just, really I'm not making a decision based on what other people did, or like it's not even the fact that I got the stream removed, because I could do it probably in a fashion that it would be fine. I think that stream individual, there was some slobber on my face and it was a little bit exceptionally disgusting. So that's just the truth of that. So anyways, I am acting on my own behalf, and I don't like to feel like I'm being controlled, but I don't, it's like I just want to just do my channel. And to be honest, it's like yeah, I've learned a lot of stuff about a lot of stuff. So for me being here, got a lot of subscribers in a short amount of time, and I also just I don't know, like sometimes people call me a genius. And sometimes, on certain topics, it's like, I don't know, like you only pay attention to what you need to pay attention to sometimes. So, do I have a degree in every single topic imaginable? No. But I think I've come a long way in the last couple years. So I really appreciate everyone, and we'll see what happens. Thank you so much.